everybody. Hi. Hello. It's good to see you. It's great to see you. I can't really see you, but I see you in the chat, and I see you, psychically. I want to say hi to Anne. So Quilt Folk sent me an email that had come into Quilt Folk, info at Quilt Folk or hello at Quilt Folk or whatever. And I've worked with Quilt Folk since 2016, it's like my home base. And Anne said that she loves Quilt Folk, and she subscribed recently because she watches Quilt Nerd. And so Anne, you're in the Lurker Lounge, and you're over there in YouTube land, and I'm so glad that you watched the show. I'm like not positioned correctly. Okay, I'm so glad that you watched the show, and I was like, come over to Twitch sometimes, so, so you can do all the fun little things. And when you responded, you were like, I'm good on YouTube. I was like, okay, like it's completely fine. It's totally fine. It doesn't matter. I'm glad that you watch, and I love that you get something out of the show. And the Lurker Lounge is what we call kind of the space that people inhabit who don't really they don't get involved in the chat, in the chat room, which is totally legit. Like I watch some live streamers and I never comment. I don't know. I just like hearing them, and they become like this place that I go when I need company. And I learn things too. I pick stuff up, even if I'm only kind of half listening. But the thing that's great about live streaming is that with quilts, we have this. It's a visual medium, visual media. It is visual media, and it's like a lecture. Like Quilt Nerd is like a lecture, although it's not formal in any way like that. But if you were to go to a lecture about quilts, but there weren't any visuals. Like there weren't any slides or illustrations, or if you were to read an article about quilts, but there weren't any illustrations, like that it would engage you in a certain way. And our brains are really amazing, and they can imagine pictures and things. But it's great to be able to see what we're talking about, and that's why I really like live streaming it, and why I do think, and maybe I'm wrong, for the rest of the world, but I think there's more. There's more for quilt people to do on live streaming. I think teaching on live streams, which of course is being done. It's not like no one's doing that, but it's pretty great. It takes you got to learn a lot of stuff. Managing, producing this stuff the learning curve is steep, but we like to look at quilts here, and we successfully look at them together, and it's a good time. So thank you, Anne, for watching, and yeah, it was cool. Hey, you like Elherhold? That sounds like sort of like medieval, like not Nordic, but like Old English, like Elherhold. Elherhold. Cake. Okay, say hello.
Abelard and Eloise.
That's right. Stephanie Cake, how are you doing? We were chatting before, animatedly.
I'm good. You're always stuffing my head full of things to think about.
I'm so sorry. You know what? That's why the quilt behind us that's why it's there. And that's because it has, just a spoiler alert. It has 123,200 pieces in it. And I picked it because that is how my brain feels right now. I'm so full of thoughts. And you and I talked about this, so full of thoughts. And tonight's show, in fact, it's so good. Tonight's show is so good. It's video night. It's video night tonight. Woo! Hold on. Oh yeah, video night. The thing is, we got to do video night because I'm working under this deadline. And you know what? I'm being intentionally vague about what I'm working on because I just don't want to psych myself out, and I just don't. No matter what, I'm going to turn something in on Saturday before the show, actually. Yes, because the show will take me up to 10 o'clock p.m. and after the show, I won't be able to do anything but just go home and sleep. So anyway, I have this deadline I'm going to try to make, and what I'm going to do, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's taken everything that I have to even get it to the point where I could even send it to the thing I want to send it to. So tonight's show has to be, it's got to be like, we have to be efficient. And we're going to watch some videos because analysis and scanning a whole bunch of things, or I don't know, putting together, anyway, tonight we're watching videos. It's like, it's not like I'm babysitting you by any means, but it's like I've heard parents be like, you know what, sometimes if I'm just really tired, I just, you know, I turn on Dora the Explorer. Okay, let's just be honest. It's not like that because I'm here, you know what I mean? But it's like, okay, I was like, okay, tonight, like, I got to break away from what I'm doing in order to finish the thing, but I got a show and I'm excited about the show, but what am I going to do, you know? And it was like, let's do some videos. And it's great. And they're amazing. They're amazing. So, that's what we're going to do. But Steph, you said, well, no. Somebody in the chat said that they liked the quilt. But what do you think about this quilt? I know we haven't looked at the whole thing yet, but like first impressions?
I was typing something when you said that number, but it was obscenely huge. And I mean, I look at this and I'm like, how cool, you know? Like, I can tell it's mosaic-y. It's kind of like, it's got that sort of Arabic architectural tile
Yep,
look.
yeah, totally.
But then knowing that it's got like a trillion pieces in it makes me tired.
Yes. In terms of quilt making, like 123,000 pieces is a trillion. It is equivalent to a trillion. Angela and I just saw your chat. Thank you so much. I love it. Lisa makes, how is that made? We are going to take a look. Eva and Qua, I'm seeing everybody. You love the linen. Well, listen, Qua Cat said, I loved the linen video on Saturday. Well, I have a treat for you, Qua. We are going to look at other. Dee Dee loves videos. Good, me too. The linen video was awesome. Drink Wine and Sew Lynn also concurs. Well, we are going to watch 2 other videos and like a little bit of a third one. Even though I'm turning on a video, I do my work. I do my prep work. I gave Stephanie Cake the links. Like we're prepared, okay? We're gonna watch 2 other videos and like a little of a third one, maybe about textile production. Like, okay, that's what we're gonna do. And one of them comes from Japan. And I'll just tell you, the cloth that they make in this indigenous culture in Japan is made from tree bark. Yeah, tree bark, okay? We're gonna watch how they do it. It's incredible. It's incredible. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, the world of like making cloth from material in the world, which makes sense, but like the breadth of that topic is fascinating. It's so interesting. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to watch some videos about, you know, other ways to make material. I mean, like, what if you made material? What if you made a quilt from material that you made yourself? Like, this is getting into some deep, like, that's deep, right, Kate? I mean, like, if you grew the flax and made the linen and made a quilt from the linen, like, I'm telling you, like, that alone, if you want, like, into, like, a gallery or, like, it's so interesting, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know about it.
It's a lot.
Yeah. You're
Whereas,
like,
you know, like Molly didn't Molly do the thing with shearing the sheep and spinning the wool and all that? I mean, it's
That's
a
right.
slightly less cumbersome process, but I mean, it is kind of, knitters do that. They do it like,
yeah, you're right.
you know,
Knitters
knitters and
do.
spinners. It's like competition for them, but I don't know. Like,
You're right.
Like, just watching the man make the linen, it made me like, it only took 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. 6 months to like get it, and then like send it to a dyer who like also like makes their own dye. Like, it's crazy. That's another thing we should do is talk about dye. Anyway, we got welcome baskets in the chat. Hey, babe. Babe's here. More fabric, says Quaqua. Hey, Amy Paps. Hi. So, wait a second. Frost Coma, welcome to the show. Welcome to the chat. It's so good to see you. Those welcome baskets are for you. It's a pretty cool group of people we got here. And so because I got to get to this thing. Hey, Garnet's here. I see you. Word and Bird Nerd, my dear. Mishral, Robin, Kay. Because I gotta get to stuff, man. It's really true. The clock is ticking. The due date is Saturday, and I gotta prepare for the show on Saturday night. So that means I have to turn in everything by like 7 o'clock latest. We got stuff to do. Okay, so we always start with an intro quilt, and it's different every time. And we've already kind of talked about it a little bit. A little spoiler alert: this quilt is found. Oh no, I know. I've already got it pulled up. Of course I do. I'm working for you. Okay. So this is the quilt. Now I'm gonna make that chat box. Slim, I saw you earlier. It's great to see you. If I don't give you a shout out, it's not for any reason, but because, you know, the chat starts going and I look away and then I look and then, you know. Okay, so this is the quilt, and by the way, this is the book from whence it comes. A little cut off there on the bottom, but this is American Quilt Collections. American Quilt Collections Antique Quilt Masterpieces. It's by Shelley Ziegert. It's one of those books that when was it published? It's one of those books that came out like, I don't know, there was this really like very prolific era, 1996. In fact, there's a research project for somebody. Publishing of quilt books in like between like, I don't know, 1985 and 1995. Look, make it easy on yourself. 85 to 95. Count the number of books. That would be easy data to get, you know. Like count the number of books that were published about quilts in the, you know, in the world, in the U.S., okay, in the North America, and then like parse out how many were how-to, you know, and then how many were like quilt documentation books, and then how many were like books like this, like books about quilts, quilt culture. I would say this would, you know, be quilt culture, but like you could like, that would be so interesting, you know, like how many were state documentation books, how many were how-to, and how many were books like this, which are just like about quilts. It's very interesting because you know what isn't made anymore, as far as I know? Books like this. Who is doing a book on like quilt collections in the United States? Like, first of all, somebody make that one. And then, because here's the thing, here's what's in this book. Shelley Ziegert, who, by the way, if you're going to American Quilt Study Group seminar this coming September, October, it's right at the cusp of October. Shelley Ziegert's going to be there. She's not, I think she is speaking, but she's going to be there because I emailed her about a Bertha Mextrath thing, and she said, I'll see you in Louisville. So that's really exciting because she's like super legend, right? But she, what was I saying? Anyway, so yeah, Shelley Ziegert, you know, she's this like grande dame kind of figure, and you know, there's all kinds of books, and she wrote this book. She put this book together. Oh yeah, what I was going to say is like, this is a book of collections that were present in the United States in 1995 when this book was published, including Robert and Helen Cargo collection, which we've talked about many times. You know, the Levi Strauss collection, Philip Morris collection. There's museums, of course, you know, New England Quilt Museum, Illinois State Museum, which is where this quilt was. Tom Cuff collection. But there's other ones that are really... Sally Jesse Raphael quilt collection. I think we've talked about it before, but she had, maybe she still has, a quilt collection. Laura Fisher. And we're Abe Books affiliates, okay? So if you see a link to this book in the chat, and if you want to get this book, use that link. It's, you know affiliate links by now. You've been on the internet for a decade. You know, if you use our link, we get a few bucks. You know, it's great. Yeah. So anyway, it's really interesting. It's like, oh, the Abby Aldrich Rockefeller Folk Art Center. All of these collections, you know what they are? Yeah. They're things you could, like, I don't know, look at and be like, hey, what's that about? And then all of a sudden you're like, you're not just a quilt nerd, you're like a published quilt nerd. Oh, insufferable. Okay, so this quilt comes from this book, and here it is in all of its glory. Okay? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Kay went to the Hawaiian Quilt Workshop. I love it. Grits and Butter's here. Oh, my God. Lisa. Oh, my God. Okay, here we go. Kenny, hi. Whew, here we have it. I mean, it makes me dizzy. Listen, if you've got like, I mean, it is a lot, okay? So don't get dizzy. I'm gonna keep zooming in, and then I'll give you a break because it honestly kind of does mess me up. Okay. This quilt here, and we have a lot about it. Albert Small he made only 3 quilts in his lifetime. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, really? Well, yeah. Yeah, I haven't played the sound effect in so long. I want to play it. It doesn't really... I guess that's like to Albert for like doing this. Yeah. But we love him that he did it. Okay, Albert Small made only 3 quilts in his lifetime. And this masterpiece is the last one he made. It took him 4 years. And in parentheses, it says 6,000 hours, he once told a reporter. It includes about 123,200 pieces and was a result of a friendly wager with his wife. Okay. Around I didn't tell you, this is important. It was made in between 1941 and 1945. I should have mentioned it right away. So between 41 and 45. Another bit of evidence, right, to suggest that people who are like, quilting died out, between World War II and 1976. It's really not the case, I mean, quilts were different.
We always hear that, but
right?
It isn't true. It isn't true.
It isn't really. I mean, like, it isn't at all. Because, Bertha Mextroth, Mary Gasprick and Bertha Stengi and Ernest Haight and all these people who get pointed to, for making, they were doing it, and plus people in the South and people who were in the West Virginia and people who still needed quilts for warmth and stuff were still making quilts. So it's weird, and that's one of the things Quilt Nerd has contributed to in terms of my understanding of quilt history. It's whose continuum are you talking about? For middle class ladies, who were look, it's middle class white ladies were we love quilts now, and it's that's totally it's completely legit. That's completely okay.
I think when they say that, though, I think they specifically mean the war years, and the theory is, so many women were in the workforce that they weren't making quilts, and I think there is some accuracy to that, but there's still lots of people who were making quilts.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, this idea that it was it was dead until the bicentennial, and the thing is, the reason that's exactly, Cake. I completely agree. The World War II changed everything, right? But the reason that it's good to revisit that isn't to blame or be that was problematic. It's not about that. It's no. The true story is way better. There's so much to look at, It's no, don't skip over that, because, oh my God, there's so much, this guy, Albert Small. Okay, let's continue. It looks like
just
a carpet.
Just to confirm, those are hexies, right?
They are hexies, yes. Yeah. Sorry, let me stop jabbering.
Oh, Amy just said she has a magazine, so yeah, they are hexies. Wow.
Amy, oh wait, no, Mod Art Quilt. Okay, Mod Art Quilt is the person who makes the tiny quilts, right? No, it's Amy. Okay, that's right.
Amy makes those tiny microscopic little log cabins.
The person who Amy, I really hope we can meet someday, because I feel so many times I just say the wrong thing. When I was a waitress, it was one table would just I would spill water on them, and then their thing would be late. I just want to meet you and just talk to you and tell you how much I appreciate you. Okay. Around 1933, Albert Small, the maker of this quilt, teased his wife and her friends about a quilt they had spent weeks making, and they challenged him to do better. Okay. He then set out to make a quilt with more pieces, and after 14 months, okay, honey, he had created his first quilt with 36,000 pieces. Encouraged by his success, Small made a second quilt. God bless. You know what? Had made a second quilt with 63,460 pieces, and word of his success spread across the country. Newspapers made much of the contrast between Small's daytime job as a dynamite handler and his nighttime hobby. God bless it! And his nighttime hobby and foray into the feminine world of needlework. It's annoying. Small's final quilt, this is the final quilt, okay? Small's final quilt was made between 1940 and 1944 when fabrics were scarce because of the war. Okay, interesting. To obtain the colors he needed, now let's take a look at the bottom, even though it's all symmetrical. To obtain the colors he needed, he walked daily to the dry goods store, estimating he could get 6,000 pieces from each yard. Whoa, he could get 6,000. Albert, are you okay? Okay. I love it.
I think Albert may have understood Moore's law before there was a Moore's law, right? And you know what Moore's law is, right?
I mean, yes, but no, I don't remember.
It's like this IT theory. I think Kenny's here. Kenny can probably explain it.
That's right.
It's basically this theory, like computing space or computing size, like just basically doubles, like it keeps doubling and doubling and doubling. And
yes.
It sounds like what Albert did here. He started off with, what did you say, like 30-some thousand? He went to 60-some thousand, and he's like, you know what? That is not enough. I gotta go with 123,000.
You're right.
And then he probably died from dynamite and quilts.
Listen, he probably did. And I think that does she say? No, she doesn't say what his end was. But I looked down, and Kenny asked, do we know how big the pieces were? And I'm skipping ahead, but a 1/4 inch hexagons. Okay. Oh, this is great. So there's two more little paragraphs about it. Small's final quilt. Okay, so he walked daily to the dry goods store, estimating he could get 6,000 pieces per yard. By the time he finished his quilt, the nation's enthusiasm for quilts had dwindled. Interesting. Yeah, it's fair enough in the press, maybe. And he never received popular acclaim for his most ambitious of quilts. After his death in 1953, his 3 quilts remained with his children until they were donated to the museum, the Illinois State Museum. So this quilt is in the state in which I sit. They were donated to the museum in 1992. The quilt is a combination of the clear, plain colors used in the 1930s without the contrast of white fabric. Now, that's interesting. That's an interesting observation. At first, the quilt appears to be a knitted afghan or hooked rug, but at closer glance, the views realize thousands of tiny, it's pretty decent resolution, but it still can't get how small, thousands of tiny 1/4 inch hexagons. The quilt was featured in the Ripley's Believe It or Not column in 1951 Reader's Digest, 1951, and Historic Quilts and Coverlets, 1939. That is how my brain feels, and that was a good time. See, even the intro quilt brings us pleasure. That's right. Well, definitely the intro quilt brings us pleasure. So, hey, Lillian, do you think his wife had to eat crow or no? I think, Mishral, quilt pointillism. I love that. That's very good.
That's what I do. I invented Post-its.
Lillian, I don't know. I feel like his wife and her friends who were like, yeah, we worked really hard on this quilt. Think you can do better? Were like, of course, Albert. Had to be Albert. God bless him. God bless his heart. And there he goes with his 123,000. At that point, it's not like, oh, you ladies, I can do better. Like, Albert has some issues he's working out, and we love him for it, we love him. Listen, you know what? You gotta be a special person. And I don't mean that sarcastically or facetiously. You got special needs. In the truest, most literal sense, you got special needs, man. You got special needs to make order and make, and I get it. You gotta do this thing because 6,000 pieces out of a yard of fabric, really?
Well,
man?
A person working with dynamite needs to be very exacting. There's no room for margin in dynamite handling. And he actually just said the chemical
so funny.
of TNT is a hexie. Really? Is that true?
So good.
Quilting politic, I think I've known you to be an honest and you weren't trolling us. So yeah, this man seriously had some shit going on.
If you work in dynamite, what did you say? Detail is your business or something like that.
Yeah, there is no margin of error.
There's no margin of error. Amazing. It's so great. Okay. So, God, Steph, I'm so glad you're here. You're very, you know what? Yeah, okay. So anyway, so here we go. So I saw Saucy, I saw Jill, I saw people coming in. So here we go. So we're continuing this journey. This very nerdy journey. Because most of the time we look at quilts on this show. But on Saturday we looked at, how flax is made. it was a fan favorite at this point. I mean, it was really fun because it's like, how do they make linen? Because, you know, there's like linen fabric, and I don't know. I mean, how does that happen? Because it's made out of a plant, you know, but cotton is too, but it's different. You know, cotton is like fluffy. Like I can like look at a cotton boll, and I have one in my house, and it's like, you can see, it's like, okay. But anyway, so I was like, well, we should look at how cotton is, you know, like woven and stuff. We should look at that because we looked at flax and linen. And so I have a 5-minute video on weaving cloth the Anglo-Saxon way. Okay, so that's really interesting. But this is from shearing sheep. So this is wool. Sorry. So no. Okay. So this is wool. We're talking about wool, right? So that's first is the wool. Is that right? God, do I have it right? I pulled a bunch of stuff. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So this is wool. Okay. Cotton is later because we have to find the right video, you know, because there's like cotton manufacture now, and there's cotton manufacture like in the United States, like pre-1863, and then there's like cotton manufacture and like harvesting before. Like there's a lot of different ways that it was made, and all of that has a relevance to, like, you know, quilts, right? Like made at all those times in history, mostly in the later part of that history. But anyway, so we're gonna look at wool first, weaving cloth the Anglo-Saxon way. But then I found this other video about making cloth from bark, from trees. Yeah, we're gonna look at it, and then we're gonna just like sample this other video of people making cloth from wild growing, like indigenous plants in cities. Okay, let's begin. We have a lot to do. Okay, weaving cloth the Anglo-Saxon way. So Steph will put in the chat the link to this, and when we watch a video on this show, the best thing that you can do is go to click the link and, you know, watch it with us, right? Sure, but hit the thumbs up button, because when you hit the thumbs up button on a YouTube video, it's basically like tipping. That's the best way I can describe it. You tip the creator, and it really makes a difference. So if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button. It's like a big deal, actually. Seems small, but it matters. So here we go. So this video, hang on now, I gotta say, this video is made by SCC Archaeology, and it's got 27,000 views. It was made a year ago, and it says, "How did people make cloth in the Anglo-Saxon times? This video demonstrates the methods and techniques involved in weaving cloth from preparing the wool to using a loom. It's made for illustration purposes only and is not instructional." So if you make wool cloth and it doesn't work, don't blame them. Okay, you ready? Let's do it.
How might an Anglo-Saxon turn sheep into something that they could wear? Well, first of all, they need to shear their sheep. They need to cut off the fleece. But they can't really wear this. I need to turn this into cloth. It's quite tangly, so the first thing I need to do is I need to comb that fleece until it's nice and fluffy. But I still can't wear this. So the next thing I need to...
I love what she's wearing. I just love it. Okay, yeah, okay.
Do is turn this fluffy stuff into yarn or thread using a drop spindle. A drop spindle is basically a stick with a circular weight on the bottom, a spindle whorl. This whorl happens to be made of wood, but the Anglo-Saxons used all sorts of materials such as clay, so pottery, recycled Roman tile, antler, chalk. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a twist in this, and as it twists, I'm going to pull out my fluffy stuff.
Oh, wow.
My wool.
Oh.
And the twist will travel up and turn it into thread.
Are you a what? Whoa. Okay, so I screen things, but this is not a presentation, it's an exploration with you. I did not watch all of this. So you're telling me that you don't have to have a spinning wheel to pull wool into yarn?
Yeah, this is before spinning wheels. This was how they did it. I mean, this is like the ancient spinning. I mean, it's a stick and a weight. And I've learned to do this. I've never used a spinning wheel, but I've learned to do
No, you have?
yeah, and it's, you kind of get the feel of it after you do it over and over, but it's very difficult to get a very fine thread. You know, like I'd have this lumpy junk that would be lumpy and then it would break, and I'd have to like spin it back together.
What, you did this? You've done this?
Yeah, when I was in college, it was part of one of my textile courses. I had to, you know, we had to learn a bunch of different things like this. And yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I could see people like it's very meditative, and it's just, you know, when you only end up with a teeny tiny little ball of yarn.
I mean,
and I can't imagine getting it thin enough to weave. Like that takes some dedication and practice.
I'm gonna see it again. I'm gonna play it again, muted, just so you can like. So, I'm gonna play it slower though. So she's got. Hold on. I mean, even slower. Like I'm gonna play it at half speed. Like I just need to see what she's doing here.
Yeah. So it's a stick, and then the thing at the bottom, the whorl, is the weight. Right.
Mm-hmm. And it could be clay. That was interesting. Clay or wood. Mm-hmm.
It just needs to be something like disc, like because it's a concept of a top, like a spinning top. Like it needs to have that balance. So, yeah.
So she's got a big bunch of sheep wool in her hand, and then she just like spins it. It's incredible. And she's you know, it looks fun. Was it kind of fun to like? I mean,
yeah, because you get used to like you kind of know how much pressure and how much you pull on it as it twists itself. It just takes practice. But yeah, it's you know, I think it's a meditative thing. I mean, I've seen people that people that knit and spin, they can take this anywhere and
right.
You know,
Yeah, it's totally mobile. Fascinating. Okay, sorry about the skipping. I think I confused the YouTube thing a little bit by stopping. Okay, so she says, hang on. She says, the problem is I can't wear this, so let's go inside and have a look at an Anglo-Saxon loom. Okay, great.
And have a look at an Anglo-Saxon loom. So this is called a warp-weighted loom.
Hang on. I think when I slowed it down, it didn't like that. So I'm gonna refresh.
I take my weft. My weft is the thread that goes backwards and forwards. I pass the weft through the gap in my tablets, pull that up a little bit, and then what you'll see, if I put my hand behind the threads, if I turn these tablets towards me, all of those threads change position, and that's how I weave that tablet edge. Now I've done that, I'm going to take my weft, pass it through the gap that's made because I've got this heddle rod pulled forward. I'm going to weave another tablet woven edge on this side. I then get my pin beater, which is made from antler. I push up.
So all of
threads.
Obviously, all of the yarn, the thread on that loom, she has spun. Like in theory, this is all spun. Okay. This is why there were not quilts, like patchwork quilts, in the colonies. This is why. Because if you made this piece of cloth, you did not cut it up unless you absolutely had to. That's why her garment is like, it's like a Greek toga. It's the same thing where you're like, okay, cool, I made this thing for like a year. It took a year, and so I'm gonna pin it and I'm gonna stitch it and I'm gonna like keep it. I don't want to cut it because, you know, if you think about it, I mean, think about the quilts we make, how much waste there is, you know, in the seam allowance. It's they didn't do that, you know, they didn't have it to spare. That's why it's not the case that the quilts were made in the colonies, but you read it all the time.
Of that weft. And now what I need to do, I've finished with this rod, I need to put this rod back, pull the next one forward.
Wow.
And what that's going to do is pull forward a completely different set of threads, which means I've now got a completely different gap.
Huh.
I'm now going to take my weaving sword or weaving batten. I'm going to pass it into that gap in my warp threads. And then what I'm going to do is beat up the row that I've just done.
Wow.
And all that effort gives you beautiful cloth. And as the cloth is woven, the weaver winds it onto the beam at the top of the loom.
It's gorgeous. Wow. Wow. I mean,
I think it's pretty amazing. I mean, obviously linen blew my mind, but also just the, you know, because what she doesn't show is that those fleeces are disgusting.
really?
I watched a video the other day my husband sent me because the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival is the exact same age as me.
Really? That's nice.
Yes. It was the 50th one this year, and so my husband sent me a video of somebody that had gotten a bunch of stuff, and she was talking about these one set of fleeces that were so clean, and they were raw. There was raw fleece that was so clean, but usually it's got like vegetable matter,
right.
poops and stuff in it.
You know, poops.
So there's really more of a step than just yanking the fleece off
Yeah.
the sheep and like combing it out.
Yeah, that's why the flax video was so good, because he's like, here's what you got to do, you got to da-da-da. I mean, it's like, you know, they did it all. And actually, I looked for one of those, like, wool to yarn, you know, to yarn to cloth videos, and I don't know, like, I'm sure there is one, but it might have been like an hour long, which is too long. But like, yeah, I mean, from like raising the sheep, there is one anyway, but it was too modern. I really wanted to see like old school, like the flax one, so that was the one I found. But yeah, fascinating. And some of you might have done this kind of thing, or know people who do this kind of thing where they're like raising sheep and shearing the sheep and all that, and it's like very cool. So raw fleece, says Lillian, was used to make fishermen's sweaters. Oh, the tight knit and natural oils made them practically waterproof. That is so badass. Oh my God. What do I even... Champagne cork. Yeah, that's so cool. That's so cool. Okay, so this video. Wait a minute, Crisco 101. Crisco 101. You've been subscribed for 4 months, and you subscribe at tier 1. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so much for supporting the show. I appreciate you so much, and thank you for being here and being on the Twitch. Hey, Naflinster, we appreciate you, and we're glad that you're here. And Mark Wesley, I just saw you, and a nun maker, Lanolin. Okay, here we go. So this one blew me away. This, in terms of like making textiles from naturally occurring materials, which of course all textiles are. I mean, everything comes from the same earth, but yeah, this is cool. So this video is making cloth from tree bark with Ainu in Japan, and the link for this, what did it say, Cake? What's the name of the video? Did you... I put it in there, but then when I open YouTube, it doesn't actually show like what the name of the video is, which is weird. Yeah,
it's making cloth from tree bark with Ainu in Japan.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's take a look. It's 9 minutes, and we're gonna do a little bit of zhuzhen with that. Okay, let's see what we learn.
Today, or if I'm being accurate, last year, I went to Hokkaido and spent a couple days with Ainu, the indigenous people in Japan's north.
I'll put on that closed caption.
My host was Maya-san, whose grandma happens to be one of the leading weavers of traditional Ainu cloth called atushi, which are made from tree bark.
今日はまず家族みんなでおひょうはぎ、おひょうにれという木の皮をはぎに来ました。このおひょうにれっていう木はすごいぬめりがあってこう剥がしやすいのが今の時期なのでこの時期にこう家族
Is that too fast? I think it is, right? Is it a little too fast? Is it okay? Like, it's 1.25.
I mean, I have to read it anyway because...
Yeah, well, you know what? You're right. Yeah, I'm going to leave it because when you play it at the same speed, like, I don't know, there's copyright stuff. Like, we're watching it together and there's, like, stuff on the screen. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But I'm more comfortable if it's a little bit different from the regular video because I want people to go watch the video on their channel. This is called fair use, but anyway, yeah.
族総出で毎年来てこのような作業を行っています。
This is such a unique occasion that besides me, there's lots of local media covering the event.
みんなで集まるのが大好きなのがアイヌでもあるし、あとはこの作業っていうのも伝承していかないとダメなもので、でも1年に1回しかできない。
Wow, amazing. They're gonna make cloth out of this. Oh. Let it go and then use momentum to pull it. Look at that, they're pulling the whole... That has gotta be so satisfying, you know? like if you, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. If you've ever had a sunburn and you're like peeling, you're like, ugh, I'm sorry, come on, we all know it's true. You know it's true, you love it. So, I'm just saying.
あそこね、節だから多分ね、枝あるから切れるから、ねじってグッと思いっきり。グン。あ、そうそうそう、オッケーオッケー。そしたら、まとめて置いて、上に置く。
なのでこの1回伝承するときにその技術を知っている人から新しい人へつなげていくっていうのをするのに毎年たくさんの方が来ていろんなことを教わってそれをだんだんつなげていくっていうことを多分今回もしています。
Wow, that knife is legit. Oh! Oh!
もともとはよく言われるのは金の衣がついていた。その衣を少しいただき。
Whoa. I'm sorry. It's moving too fast for me. It just is. I want to enjoy this. Like I just have to. So hold on. What that person just said was originally it was said that trees would wear clothes. We prayed saying, "Thank you for sharing your clothes." Then we would start peeling.
っていうことを捧げてから木の皮を剥がしていたって言われるんですけど、もともとはそのように全ての皮を剥がしきらずにその木がその後も生きていけるようにするのがアイヌの文化です。でそこが私の好きなアイヌ文化の一つでもあります。今はこの木というのを国から指定されたりして、でその木を切り倒して一本の木丸々の樹皮をいただくようになってるんですけど、なっています。
Wow. God, the tree looks so different. I mean, duh, but like, wow.
So let me give you a rundown of what's going on in the forest. The first step is to peel the bark from the trees. As Maya mentioned, nowadays they take the whole tree, so chainsaws are used. They bundle up the bark and bring it back up the road to peel the inside layer from the outer. Only the inside layer is needed. This part takes longer than stripping the bark from the trees, so eventually everyone joins in on the action.
ここの角っこをこんな感じで、横から見たらこんな感じでなるようにしたら、
Oh
折りた
God.
どりの笛の完成です。で、こういう太さだったりとか長さ、こんな感じで音が変わります。今このようにアイヌだったりとか。
That is so badass. Like, it's like, do your clothes make music before you wear them? Like, I mean, it's so great. It's so cool. Like, I don't know. It's so beautiful. The sound was really great. I loved it. I loved it.
アイヌではない人とかもこうやって一緒にやっているんですけど、もともとこれはアイヌではないとできない儀式だとか、アイヌではないとできないものだっていうのではなくて、きっとアイヌの人たちはもう人間っていうくくりで人を見ているんで、なのでいろんな人がこうやって共同する形が本来あっていい形で、なので今回もすごいそれに合っていて、すごい楽しいとか嬉しい幸せなことです。
絶対帰りしよう。
Looks fun. Oh wow. Wow. It's before it's dyed and it looks so pretty. You know, the color.
These
Out of the
pieces
forest,
of new
all the
tree
inner
look
layers
like
that hold
combos.
the canoe.
Stephanie Cake was like, I've done spinning with the weighted spindle. And she's like, those look like combos. I love it. It's great. It's great. Okay. All right. But they did. They did.
Wood ash mix. This softens them up, making them easier to separate into thinner layers. To do that, we head to the river.
Yes, Miss Roll. Exactly. Yes, Lily. Also.
皮を剥がして煮た後のお表を川に来てぬめりだったりとか汚れを落とすのにこうやって洗ってでこう上をこうフライ返しみたいなので今は
Wow.
こうちょっとゴシゴシしながらぬめりとかを取ってこう
Slime.
何層にもなっている層をこう
Wow.
間に手を入れてってこれめちゃくちゃやりやすいこんな感じで剥がしていきますでこれをだんだん薄くしてってだいたい1、2枚ぐらい
Whoa.
大体全部薄くした方が本当はいいんだけど。
まあ薄くしていってそれをこう最後に洗って絞ってで今度はこれに色をつけていったりしたんですけど
It
そこまでの全
it
体
looks like cloth already. Like I'm going back. Like the woman in the purple. Like what she's wringing out. Like it looks like a textile.
まあ薄くしていってそれをこう最後に洗って絞ってで今度はこれに色をつけて
Then we'll dye them. So when it's thin, wash it again and squeeze the water out. Then we'll dye
それ
them.
をこう最後に洗っ
Oh,
て絞
sorry, I'm
っ
in the
て
way. Sorry.
で今度はこれに色をつけていったりしたんですけどそこまでの全段階をそこまでの前段階を革でやってますで
Wow.
どうですか
After that, the fiber is dried out again and then shredded into smaller pieces.
Oh my god.
It's then twisted into a thread to make skeins. And finally, the thread can be used to weave into a big piece of fabric.
Oh, that's their shuttle? Is that right? Is that their
A big piece of fabric.
or their car that the like the thing they use, the needle or whatever? Of course. You know, of course. It's beautiful. It's fine. Yeah, it's totally fine. Oh man.
And with that, you can make something like this kimono. Traditionally, Ainu use trees for many of their day-to-day as well as ceremonial items. You have everything from baby swings and weapons behind it, to canoes carved out of
Whew.
entire trees, to the prayer sticks that would be dipped in sake and then sprinkled over sacred shaved objects as part of prayers to the kamui. At the museum, they also have an outdoor section where you can see what a typical village used to look like. There are traditional houses with reed-thatched huts. They would consist of a single large room with a fireplace in the center.
And its community is really small. If you have 3 or 4 houses here, you can say it's a Kotan village. So with some that kind of characterization, with the number of the river, maybe the number of the island is not so different from today, maybe 25,000 or so.
My number one takeaway from the whole experience is how welcoming the Ainu are. Special thanks to Maya for helping to arrange the visit.
Heck yeah.
She's currently attending university in Kanagawa, but on the side, she participates in Ainu language study groups. She also runs a YouTube channel teaching Ainu language and culture.
No. I'm sorry, what? Oh my god.
Teaching Ainu language and culture. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye. What's a traditional craft like where you're from?
So, when the internet is good, it's really good. Like, oh my God, that was amazing.
That was really cool. You just said, Quaquaquette said, looks like there was a few interim steps between Creek and Coda that we didn't see.
Yes, good point. Exactly. Yes.
But yeah, that was incredible. I mean, I really didn't know what to expect, and that cloth looked so, like, soft and...
Yes.
You know, I mean, I realize it's not like the fuzziest blanket ever, but it looks like a nice, cool, structurally sound outfit.
Yes, exactly. Hang on, let me see real quick. I didn't pull this up, but let me just, Japanese fabric. Like, I pulled up the name of it. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, here we go. Like, let's just do the old Google image search situation type deal. Okay. Hang on. Listen, can you imagine if this show was just like me pulling up Google image search images? No. That's not the kind of production quality you get on the show. But, whoa. Because this is why, okay? So hang on, this is why. I hate this. I can't do it to you. We all look at the internet all day long. You don't want to see that. How about this? Okay, let's look at this. Come on now. Okay, here. So this is a kimono. This is made from Attus. Attus is like the English sort of equivalent, Attus. I mean, it's incredible. And I love that young lady, right? Like doing her whole, like her people's thing. It's so cool.
Well, that's what's so important about these traditions. Is,
yes.
Families keep them going.
Yep.
Because they die out otherwise.
Yep.
I mean, I think it's in Greece or Cyprus. There's a lady who's like the last person in the world that knows how to make some kind of lace.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's sad when those traditions go away.
It's true because like things change and you can't, nothing lasts forever, and like entropy and like all that stuff. But the thing is, like, when I saw that young woman like blow into the reed or into, and make like a sound, it's like, okay, whoa, that's very important. Like, hang on, like, let's not lose that. Like that, it could be music, it could be like have medical like implications. Like, it's so hard to like be a human being in the world, and it's like there's all this knowledge, and if we keep losing it, if we keep destroying it, then we're not going to get anywhere. That's all.
Yeah. Definitely.
Man. Okay. So the last thing, and then we got to cut out. It's an early night. It's an early bedtime tonight. But this is this other thing. Oh my God. I'm looking for these different things to show you because I like to have an exciting show. And it's 19 minutes. We're not even watching it quickly. We're going to watch part of it. It's called Wild Fibers, Clothing from Undomesticated Plants in the City. Yeah. So the link that Steph will put in there, that is where you're going to go if you want to watch the rest of it. It is something else. So let's take a look at this. I haven't watched all of it because I don't. I'm going to play it at, let's do like this, see where we get. Wild Fibers, Clothing from Undomesticated Plants in the City. So this is I don't know. I think it's New York, but I don't know.
That has been trammeled,
also known as
by
weeds.
somebody coming through the middle of the garden bed.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You are correct.
That's what I do.
It is weeds.
Post-its.
Like, what are they going to do? Dandelions? I mean, I guess so. Okay, let's check it out.
What we're going to do is just cut the stalks on the ground, and I'll take the leaves off and put them in water so we've got them for some natural dye, like some botanical prints.
Wow. It's so cool.
This is a raised bed full of fiber plants as well as tea plants at Trillium Park.
we've got this long tradition as humans of clothing ourselves with plants. So it's really exciting to just broaden what can be a fiber plant and shift our thinking.
It's so badass. Like, it's so cool. It is. It's like, oh wow.
Trillium is a park that was designed to have artists involved somehow, and I was lucky to be involved in the design process. We have plantings here intentionally to be involved.
Let's just give her some respect here. Sharon Collis, environmental artist, very cool. Director of the Ert Hand Gleaners Society.
In the design process. We have plantings here intentionally chosen for traditional hand technologies, as well as our shipping containers and work bays as enclosed studio space for holding classes and for storing all of the materials and all the tools and everything.
Fireweed.
So one of the things we're doing is exploring a whole variety of wild fibers, from fireweed to the dogbane or Indian hemp to milkweed, stinging nettle. We've grown flax, which is a early agricultural crop for textiles.
Stinging nettle, great.
This is the nettle plant. The research that I've done with community here has been around how the green stalks were processed by the Coast Salish ancestors for fish nets, and also processed in different ways for clothing. So one of the things I love about it is that it's this plant that's a culture connector and connects my ancestors to the ancestors of the place I live. Nicola and I just harvested the nettle that is going to be used for a project I'm working on, 2 different tops or shirts that explore different ways of working with the nettle fiber. One way is when the fiber is what's called retted, which is a controlled rot.
By the way, I didn't mention they're in Vancouver, British Columbia. Yeah. Okay, so they're working with these fibers. Let's see sort of some of these techniques, okay? Or these processes.
Some of these are starting to pop now. So what I can do is just run my finger down that as soon as I get it open.
Oh my
slide
God.
all of those out like that. So I've got this little bit of milkweed tow in here, and I'm going to put some of that fluff from the seed of the dogbane in there.
All of their clothes have surely
Now
been
I'm
made
gonna just
like from this, right? It's amazing.
roll that up. Oh, that's pretty good.
Hey, Jacome jellies. They do.
I'm applying 2 different nettle drop spindles together, and one of them is a much tighter twist. That's my line nettle, and the other is much softer.
I want to wear what she's wearing. I do. I want the vest. I want the
water.
I want it. I want it. I would
just get some of the
all day.
woolly ends tamed down in place.
We know what that is. We know what that tool is now. I didn't know before.
Technically, I started this shirt in terms of processing some of these fibers probably about a year ago.
Oh God.
I've wanted to have a nettle shirt since 2002 when I first started kind of experimenting and learning about nettle. And I was always saying nettle shirt 2020 as a joke, and here it is 2020. So just trying to get a sense of what this might look like.
Look at her house. Look at her home. This is, you know, I have friends who kind of just like live more like they're vegans. They have their own chickens. You know, my friend Sophie, like she's beautiful and I need to see her. But like I envy this. I do. Like there's just something about it that seems like, I don't know. Like I just don't have it. Look what I'm eating, for God's sake. I don't usually get Ruffles. Cake and I were talking about like the cheese powder is just, it's just different from other chips. I don't usually go with this, but I don't know. I did, okay? Very rare. But I just, you know, come on. Like this looks, there's something about it that feels, I don't know, it makes me think I'm missing something. But maybe that's like totally bougie and weird. I don't know, probably. Anyway, okay, so you guys watch this. It's fascinating. This woman is doing this stuff. I'll mute it and just kind of play it while I'm talking. But you know, she's making her own fibers from stuff that she finds in the city. Stuff being plants, you know, naturally occurring materials. To me, it's a very fascinating thing. I have a lot of respect for it. And you know, when I said like, let's go back and like look at her name, right? Who is this person and where is she and what is she doing? Definition a long time ago, you know, I was in grad school and one of my professors was like, you know, the definition of respect you know, it comes from the Latin, you know, respect, you know, which is like look again. Again, spect, you know, to look. So if you respect something or someone, it basically means that you're giving them, you know, you're giving them your time. You're looking again. You look at something, and to give respect to it is that you look again. And so to look again, you know, at like these people who make this this cloth, wherever they are in the world, or you know, whoever they are, is to me, it's like a really worthy way to spend your time, because like, I don't know, of course we take our cloth for granted. Are you kidding? Like, that's, at least for me, and if you're watching this, probably for the most part, you too, because we live in the world of live streaming and like, I don't know, bags of chips made out of potatoes, and I didn't touch the potato, I know that. So anyway, so it's cool to see this like how is it made stuff, you know, and I really like watching it with you, and I'm glad that you all like it too. I knew you would. Yeah, weeds. Yeah, weeds. Okay. So everybody, that is the show tonight. It's about 8:15. It's the way it's got to be tonight for the schedule that we're on. Thank you for coming. Cake, thank you so much. It's good times. And short night. It's true. Saturday night will be an extravaganza.
We broke everybody's brains on Saturday. I know mine was broken.
I know. My brain was broken too. Oh, and I gave Steph, I scanned in the Michael James article and made a PDF for it. So if you subscribe to this show, you get access to the Discord, and that's where like all the goodies come in. So the article that we talked about and I read most of on Saturday night, if you're in the Discord, that's coming, man.
It's been posted.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
So thanks, Kate. That's great. So it's fascinating. It's from 1992, and it's so interesting about quilts and art and like what it means. What does it all mean? So subscribe to the show, and those of you who do subscribe, I really, really appreciate it. The more people subscribe, sort of the more fun we can have. It's really true, you know. So we have a good time already. So thank you so much, everybody. Take care of yourself. Thanks for coming by. Thanks, Amy, for coming by and learning about fibers. It's called Quilt Nerd for a reason. Okay. Bye, everybody. I'll see you on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. Okay, bye.